Mahalo to Ergo Baby for helping to make this show possible. Ergo Baby, products to make baby wearing easier, from infant to toddler, because the joy of carrying an infant close is one of life's simplest pleasures. ErgoBabyCarrier.com. Mahalo. Welcome to Life on Maui. My name is Stephen Freid. My guest for today is Zoe Weston, anthropologist whose passion is peace, and in particular, peaceful birthing and parenting. She's the author of a book, 5 Steps to World Peace. Welcome to the show, Zoe.
Thank you, Steve. Glad to be here.
What are your 5 steps to world peace?
The 5 steps are inner peace, peaceful birthing, peaceful parenting, holistic applicable education, and living as a community.
You've got it. Okay,
That's it.
How does that specifically apply? Consistency and peaceful conditioning. You say that that's what's really important in creating a peace-filled human being. Speak to that.
Well, yeah, the important thing is to condition human beings in a peaceful way and consistently. So this starts in the womb of a peaceful mother. It starts that early. And then, of course, the goal is to have a gentle birth, have a gentle home environment, gentle school environment, and then, the chances of becoming a peaceful human being are that much higher.
How does peaceful conditioning start in the womb? How do you see that as happening?
Well, there's lots of research that states that the consciousness of a mother goes directly into the consciousness of her baby. And in other words, the baby actually feels the same emotions and feelings as its mother. And that's why I believe it's really important to take care of pregnant women and nurture them and keep them happy. You want to keep pregnant moms happy.
Like how? Feed them chocolate and brush their
hair? A little bit of chocolate is probably okay. Pampering, massages, keeping the romance alive with their partners, and, of course, eating fresh foods and staying hydrated. And it's very good to watch a lot of comedy or read funny things. Keep the laughter flowing.
What are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorites, well, I have to say The Princess Bride is one of my favorite funny movies, one of my favorite comedies. Yeah. And The Far Side is really funny as far as comics go. Yeah.
So comedy is really important.
It is.
Well, there were a couple of books that were very important to you, that really got you very on this path, so to speak. What were those books?
The first book was called Gentle Birth Choices by Barbara Harper. And she talks about the importance of having a gentle birth and how babies remember birth and it stays with them their whole life. So it's really important to make this a gentle, peaceful experience for them, because this is their very first experience in life in this new realm. So, it's important for it to be peaceful and gentle. And she talks about many different things you can do to achieve that. Like? She really stresses water birth. And I did have a water birth, and it was wonderful. The water, it really does help with contractions, and it gets you relaxed really quickly, easily. So this is something she talks about to ease your baby into the world.
So this is obviously, you've written a book and are very invested in this, and your upbringing was turbulent. There was some things that went on in your upbringing that I think lends to making this very important in your life. What were some of the things, something to do with your parenting and schools you went to?
Yeah, I wouldn't say home life was extremely turbulent, but I did have a tough mother. She came, she's from the Bronx, and she had to be tough. That was her way, and so, I adopted many of those behaviors.
Like what?
Oh, I thought I was a little tough girl.
Were you a tough girl?
A little bit, yeah, sure. And verbally violent and abusive. Yeah, that kind of behavior mostly. Not really physical violence, but I would say verbally violent at times. And I also was a minority in the school that I went to, in elementary school.
And where were you at that point?
I was in West Denver. I grew up
So you grew up in the Bronx and Brooklyn?
Well, I was born in the Bronx. We lived in Brooklyn for a while, but I did move when I was 4. So really, I considered myself to be from Colorado.
Okay, but going along with what you've been saying, how important those beginning years are, you got New York in you there.
I do have a little bit, yeah. And of course, my mother talks like this, so it's in my genes, for sure. It's there.
Yeah. Colorado.
But yeah, for a short time, we were living in West Denver. And
a short time meaning was
a
few years.
Yeah, it was a good, I don't know, 4 to 6 years, something like that. And because we lived in a few different areas, but yeah, I was a minority at the school I went to, and I was harassed often for this.
For being white.
For being white, yeah. So I got to feel what that's like, and it's not fun at all. And I believe that is when I started to question why this is an issue. Why do people care about skin color or religion or what you look like? And yeah.
And that led to you studying anthropology?
It did, because human behavior became fascinating for me. I wanted to know what's causing this hate in people. What causes people to behave this way? And is there anything to alter that? Is there anything we can do to change that outcome, to persuade that, or influence that?
So what are some of the things? I think you've mentioned nonviolent communication. So what are some of the tools that you've used to help you with that? Well, you just have a small child now, but with your husband, and as your child grows up more?
Well, definitely nonviolent communication. Marshall Rosenberg is really wonderful. He's created some great tools to use for learning how to negotiate through conflict in a peaceful way. It's really good stuff. I think that's one of the most important things to learn, not just for parents, but for educators as well, because that will be a form of consistency if we can get the parents to talk to their children this way and have the educators at school talk this way to the kids. That would be wonderful. A great dream of mine.
Yeah, and life happens, and I'm sure that occasionally you and your husband have an argument or something. How would you deal with that?
I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not always a fully peaceful person, and it's my goal to practice being a peaceful person, and that for me that's important. And the way I practice that is to connect with the breath, remind myself what's going on, come back to an inner peaceful state, which, like I said, is the first place we start this peaceful process, is with inner peace. And usually I can get to that place. It also helps to be able to stop and look at the other person's perspective of what's going on with any particular issue.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So that's usually how I work through it. Breathing, though, really, for me, breathing helps me think better. It gets my body to function better, and it really, really helps. It just relaxes me.
Well, interestingly, you told me that there was a certain quote from The Godfather that really informed something. What was that quote, and how did it?
Growing up, that was my favorite movie. I really liked it. It's not really my favorite movie anymore. Yeah. But
But something about keeping your enemies close?
Well, yeah. I always liked the line. It's something like, oh.
Keep your enemies.
What is it? Keep your friends
close, but your enemies closer, or something like that.
It's something like that.
So what did that mean for you?
For me, that meant to research my adversaries, whatever that may be, whether it's religion that's different from my own, or anyone who has different concepts to mine. I want to know what those are, so I can understand their point of view, and I can resolve this within myself and perhaps get them to see my side of an issue.
So for the purpose of understanding, that's the bottom line for you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. The more I know, I can see the whole picture, and that's what I want.